It's been a long time coming, but we're back, baby.
Baby, can't you see?
What's up, Ocean? You got Matt here, coach of your Muk-Alola and your local League format enthusiasts. Today, I'm bringing you my top 6 Poison-type Pokemon in the League format. And guys, I'm so excited. I have not done a top 6 of a certain type in forever, it feels like. And I'm so happy I'm kind of bringing the series back. I kind of experimented a bit using the scripted videos, scripted style, but it takes too long for me to do and add the images as well, add all the graphics. So I really want to make it kind of off the top of the head and make it so that it's more of an immediate thought process and really give you my pure thoughts on these 6 Pokemon. So without further ado, let's get into why I believe these are my top 6 poison types. So I'll just go over quickly my criteria. So number 1, just before I say anything else, this is based on my opinion, so if you disagree, make sure to let me know in the comment section below. Also, you should definitely like the video or dislike the video, doesn't really matter. If you enjoyed it, a like would be appreciated. If you don't, well then I guess dislike it. And subscribe as well for more Pokemon content, more Draft League content on a very, very often basis, I guess is the word to say. Anyways, moving on though, we do have other criteria. So number 1 was I'm treating these Pokemon as how they perform as poison types, not as however their secondary type would treat them. There are very few just pure poison types, and I mean, I think all the Pokemon I have on this list, all the Pokemon I have on this list are dual types. So I really want to make sure that you guys understand this is how they're treated as poison types and not as their secondary typing. Another thing is I'm giving advantage to Pokemon who are more often drafted than not. Part of that is because a Pokemon like Nidoqueen would definitely be on my list. I'm just saying right now it's not, and that's because it can't be, it's not drafted that often because it's an Uber Pokemon. It's very, very powerful. I'm using it right now in the WPL, and it's got 20 kills and 5 deaths in 10 weeks of play. It's really strong, guys. So I definitely suggest that if you do have a chance to draft it, go ahead. But other than that, these are the 6 best poison types after that. Anyways, guys, that's enough chit chat. So if you guys enjoy the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video as well. And next week we'll be covering the top 6 ice types, actually. And yeah, we only have 4 types left after this. It's been a while, but we only have 4 types left. And then after that, I will be covering Mega Evolutions and stuff like that. Anyways, guys, let's get into it. Here are my top 6 poison types in the Draft League format. Coming in at number 6, we have a Pokemon that I really dislike personally, but I can't deny how good it can be, especially if you are playing in OU or just laddering on Showdown, and that is Toxapex. Toxapex is extremely bulky, guys. It has a ridiculous defense and special defense stat of 152 and 142, lackluster HP at 50, but it does have recovery in Regenerator and recovery in Recover. There you go. Its offensive stats are terrible at 63 attack and 53 special attack, and because of that I have to bring it down a peg. It does get access to very, very cool and important moves. You get access to Baneful Bunker, which is really cool if you're running a Merciless set. You have access to Toxic Spikes and Venoshock, so you can pair that as well. Critical hit, Merciless, Venoshock, while being poisoned is very powerful. But then you have Haze, which is very important for a team, having that ability to disrupt an opponent Pokemon setting up. Then you have Knockoff to get rid of your opponent's item, which can be very crucial, especially it can help with some rolls, it can help you lift some hits, it can get rid of a potential Lumberry or whatever it would be, and yeah, but then you have Scald for burns, and you have Ice Beam to get some extra damage on super effective hits like maybe a Garchomp or a Salamence, whatever it would be, another ground type or another dragon type, anything that is weak to ice. So it's a good Pokemon, but I really am not the biggest fan of it. I will say though that you have access to Regenerator, which is an awesome ability, it's an amazing ability, and if you can draft it, if you can afford the points for it, and if you can support it really well with, let's say, something that can take ground hits really well, maybe, I don't know, a Tapu Bulu, and maybe add a Heatran to that, you get your Bulu-Tran with your Toxapex, is a very strong core, guys. Not my favorite core because it's kind of passive, Toxapex is, at least, but yeah, I will say that the best item for these poison types, or one of the best items for poison types in general, is the Black Sludge. They're very lucky to have that form of exclusive type recovery with the Black Sludge, so I highly recommend you guys pick up Toxapex if you can. It's a great water type, it's a pretty good poison type. I personally hate the Pokemon, it's actually the only Pokemon on this list that I've never used in the format, and yeah guys, I definitely think you guys should check it out and see what you can do with Toxapex. Moving on though to number 5, we have Nidoqueen. This is definitely the Nido that I prefer more. I like Nidoking, I just don't think it's as good as Nidoqueen, and part of that is because it's bulky. They have great typing at Poison and Ground. You're weak to, I believe, Ice, Psychic, Ground, and Water, if I'm not mistaken. There's only 4 types out of 17, it's not too bad. And your bulkiness is very important. You have 90 HP, you have 87 in defense and 85 in special defense, which is very, very useful. But then you have 92 attack, which can be powerful as well because of your sheer force, and you have 75 special attack, which again, doesn't seem like much. but with Sheer Force it becomes incredibly powerful, and if you pair that with a Life Orb, then you're in a great spot. Looking at its move pool, this is one of the few Pokemon that gets Spikes and Stealth Rocks, and it's just very useful to have. Or sorry, Toxic Spikes and Stealth Rocks is what I meant. A Toxic Spikes Nidoqueen is very useful, especially if you pair that with a Life Orb, and then you can hit things really hard. People might think you're more defensive, and then you can just throw off a Life Orb, Sheer Force boosted Sludge Wave, and that will really obliterate a lot of Pokemon. But looking at the rest of its move pool, its type coverage is ridiculous. You have access to moves like Aqua Tail, Avalanche, Brick Break, Crunch, Dragon Pulse, and Dragon Tail for phasing. Then you have Drill Run for that physical set, Earth Power, like I said, the special set. Then you have Fire Blast and Flamethrower, again, both boosted by Sheer Force. You have access to Ice Punch and Ice Beam, Poison Jab for that physical set again, Power Punch. I think it's gonna be negated if you run Sheer Force, so keep that in mind. You then have Pursuit, which is very useful. And then you have, of course, one of the moves that I hate the most, of course, being Sucker Punch. That move is there on Nidoqueens, and it's actually very, very effective depending on your set, so you guys can really be smart with what you run with Nidoqueen, and it's a very good Pokemon. I definitely suggest you draft it. Just make sure you pair it with a really good Psychic, Water, Ground, and Ice Resist, because this Pokemon does not have reliable recovery, and it can be worn down pretty easily. But you can always give it a nice little Agua Berry or Figgy Berry or one of those super recovery berries if you don't need the extra power from the Life Orb. And definitely, this Pokemon is one that you should really consider drafting. I think the gap between Nidoqueen and Toxapex is actually pretty massive, so I really highly suggest picking up a Nidoqueen if you get the chance. They're usually found in Tier 2 or Tier 3 of most tier drafts, and they're not that expensive in points drafts. So moving on though, let's go to number 4, and that is Alolan-Muk. Alolan-Muk is one of my favorite Pokemon that came out in Generation 7. Of course, I am an original Gen 1er. I started playing the game back when Red and Blue came out. I left the game for a while, but Muk coming back in this new form with a Dark type, with 2 great abilities being Poison Touch, or 1 decent ability in Poison Touch, and a good ability in Gluttony, is very, very important. Looking at stats though, you have 105 base HP, 105 attack, 100 special defense, and then 75 defense. Those 4 stats right there really allow you to become a very effective wall and a very effective tank, I should say that. One of the coolest things about this set is that it has really, really good physical move pool. It has really good physical move pool. So because of that, you can give yourself 4 moves, slap an Assault Vest on this Pokemon, give yourself max HP and a decent amount of attack, special defense, and you can become a very effective special wall. And if your opponent doesn't run knockoff, then you can just keep wishing back into Lowland Muck and really provide a lot of utility for your team and really stop a lot of Pokemon. Its only weakness is Ground type, and that's very, very effective, especially since its other weakness, Psychic, it's immune to now. So yeah guys, that is Alolan-Muk's basically the benefits that you can get from it. But I do want to say the Gluttony Super Berry set is very effective again, because you are going to be recovering back 50% of your HP, and it's very unlikely you're going to be 2 KO'd by anything unless they do like at least 75%. So yeah, I'm very excited for you guys to try out Alolan-Muk. I think it's a great Pokemon. Let's just go quickly over its moves. You have access to Brick Break and Clear Smog. Clear Smog is an amazingly underrated move, so I should definitely suggest you guys run that if you're really afraid of Pokemon setting up. You have Crunch, you have Disable, which is again useful to help stop Pokemon setting up. You have Explosion, you have Fire Punch, you have Focus Punch, which is kind of useful, I guess, if you're predicting a swap. But then you have Gunk Shot for very difficult, very hard damage. You have Poison Jab if you want to be a bit more accurate, Knock Off, and Ice Punch. You have Power Punch again. You get access to Curse, I believe. Yeah, you do get Curse. You have access to Shadow Sneak as well, which is always nice. Pursuit. You have Stone Edge, Thunder Punch, Taunt. You're not that fast. The Taunt can always be useful for stopping slower threats. I mean, base 50 isn't the greatest, but some walls are slower, so you really want to be aware of what you're going up against, especially in the format. I like Muk a lot. I think the best item for it would have to be the Assault Vest. That's just my favorite set, but the Gluttony set is again very useful. Black Sludge again also useful, and don't underestimate a Curse set. The Curse Muk can be very, very powerful, especially because it has priority in Shadow Sneak. So yeah guys, those are my thoughts on Muk. Let's move on to number 3. Number 3, we have the favorite of my boy Scrappy. It is Scolipede. Scolipede is a monster, guys. You have not very impressive stats all around. At 60 HP, 100 attack, 89 defense, 55 special attack, 69 special defense, and 112 speed. But its ability in Speed Boost with the access to Baton Pass, Substitute, and Swords Dance make this thing a real threat. It also gets really powerful offensive moves. You get access to Mega Horn, Poison Jab, and Aqua Tail, Earthquake, Stone Edge. You have a lot of really powerful options, as well as Toxic Spikes and Spikes for supporting options. I really like Scolipede as a Pokemon in general. The only thing with it is sometimes it's limited because of the Baton Pass clause, whether leagues will allow Pokemon to use Baton Pass and Baton Pass outspeed or even speed plus another stat. So you really gotta be careful when you're drafting this thing, but on its own, it's a very powerful Pokemon. It makes a great Z user because of, again, you have Aqua Tail, which is not 100% accurate, and you have access to Stone Edge, which is, again, also not 100% accurate. Or, you don't get Stone Edge, you get Rock Slide. Sorry, that's my bad. No Stone Edge, you get Rock Slide though. I really like this Pokemon. It's an effective lead, a really, really good lead, and you can really tailor it to any matchup and really do good against your opponent. I would say the biggest weakness this thing has is dealing with ground types that aren't weak to water, so something like a Garchomp it's very weak to, just because it can take hits, fire back powerful earthquakes, so you gotta be careful with what you're setting this thing into. But again, if you can use a Baton Pass after getting +1 or +2 speed behind a substitute, you can basically send in whatever you want and really support your team that way. Scolipede is a great Pokemon. Never really know what it's going to do. If you get a Swords Dance, it's gonna just destroy an opponent, guys. So please draft Scolipede if you get the chance. You won't regret it, I swear. Moving on though to number 2, we have Nikki Lego, and this is a Pokemon that I've gained a new appreciation for after trying it out recently in the UBLN. I believe that was a few months ago, like maybe 2 or 3 months ago, but this Pokemon is phenomenal, guys. It makes a very, very effective Beast Booster. It is definitely my second favorite Ultra Beast that is a Poison type, being behind, actually my third, behind Poipole and Naganadel, but what are you going to do? This thing is a great Beast Booster. You have 109 HP, 127 special attack, 131 special defense, and 103 speed. This Pokemon, its stats are placed pretty good to be a good Beast Booster. If you are at level 100, I will say this, to gain a boost in speed, I believe you need to have 176 EVs, 176 EVs in special attack, and max speed, timid, nature, max EVs as well in your speed to make sure you gain your boost in speed instead of special attack, because you do have a special attack set that is a few base points higher than your speed. Anyways, guys, the best thing about Nikki Lego is that it has great moves to help you snowball. Its move pool is really, really wide. One of the most underrated moves that it has is Acid Spray. That move, if you didn't know, it lowers the special defense stat of your opponent by 2 stages, and is very effective, especially if you're predicting a switch. I know I ran it to, I predicted the switch into an Uxie. I knew that was going to be coming in to deal with my Nikki Lego, so I used Acid Spray on it. It lowers its defense by 2, and then Sludge Wave will do a ton more damage to it, and it really can't force me out after that. And that is honestly very important. You really want to start the snowballing process as quickly as possible and make it as effective as possible so you can pick up a nice, quick win using Nikki Lego. But moving on though, it has Dazzling Gleam for those dragon types, you have Foul Play for those really tough physical attackers, Grass Knot for those really heavy ground types that could be an issue. You have access to Iron Head, I guess, if you want to be a physical Naganadel with your powerful 53 physical attack. But then you have access to nice moves. You have Light Screen and Reflect, you get access to Psychic and Side Shock, you have Power Gem, you have Sludge Wave and Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb could be more useful. And yeah, you have access to Thunderbolt too, which is nice. Toxic Spikes and Stealth Rocks, again, very useful. You're a very fast Pokemon, so you can make sure that you get up your hazards quickly before getting taunted or getting KO'd or whatever it be. So I really suggest you guys draft Nikki Lego. I believe it gets Trick Room too. Yes, it does. So this Pokemon can be very effective with not many roles, but it's the roles it does being a sweeper, a wall breaker, and a spike stacker or setup or a hazard setter. It's very effective with those roles, and you can really fix the Nikki Lego set you want to make it the most effective every single week. Finally, before we get to number 1, I just want to give a quick little honorable mention to Tentacruel. I really like that Pokemon. The only issue with it, for me, I can never draft it because it doesn't have reliable recovery. As a water type, I like to have recovery, especially if you're in bulky water, and unfortunately it just doesn't. But as a poison type, it's very, very good at what it does, getting a Rapid Spin, getting Toxic Spikes and everything. So I really suggest you guys try and pick that up if you can't afford any of these 6. Moving on to number 1 though, we have the Ghost, the Poison thingy, the Legend, Gengar from Gen 1. I love this Pokemon, guys. It is definitely one of my favorites all time. Just the way it looks, incredibly cool. But its move pool, its stats, and what it does for a team are incredibly valuable, and that's why it's at the top of my list. It is grounded now, and I give it actually a boost for that. I don't actually take anything away from it because it absorbs Toxic Spikes now, and that's very useful. Not many people say, hey, I'm going to draft something that is immune to Toxic Spikes and that can absorb them because that can help my team. Not many people think of that, but it's actually very valuable. And one of the coolest things about Gengar, though, is that it has stats placed in the right areas. Of course, we'd all like a bit more HP, defense, and special defense, but we can't get that. But its attack, its special attack, and its speed are perfect for the situation that it's in. You have 110 speed, which is very useful. Outspeeds a lot of good Pokemon. Slap a Scarf on, you can really dent an opponent's team. You then have 130 special attack with your powerful moves like Shadow Ball, like Sludge Bomb, like Sludge Wave, even if you have the Event Gengar, like Energy Ball, Thunderbolt, Dazzling Gleam, Dark Pulse, even if you want to be that guy. Like, this Pokemon can do a lot of work for you. One of my favorite sets is the sub disable set. It is very effective at what it does. Again, it's just meant to outspeed your opponent, set up a sub, disable the opponent's move that was being used, and then go for a move like Shadow Ball or Sludge Bomb, even go for a Will-O-Wisp and then start hexing things. This Pokemon is great, guys. You have access to Nightshade for consistent damage, Trick and Trick Room, I believe, and yeah, you do. Do you get Trick Room? Yes, you do. And this Pokemon can do so many good things. I really suggest you guys try it out. It's extremely powerful, extremely valuable to a team, and I think definitely the Poison type may not be its best typing, but it's still such a good Pokemon overall that I have to give it the #1 spot on my top 6 list. Anyways, guys, that's my list. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to let me know by liking the video and subscribing if you haven't already. We just passed 230 subscribers, guys, so thank you so much for your support. I really want to keep this going, guys, and I hope you are enjoying the content. Anyways, guys, make sure to let me know what your top 6 favorite Poison types would be in the comment section below. Also, if you guys want to make a video, tell me what your top 6 would be. I would love to see it. Link me it, show me it, whatever. I will watch it, and I will give you my thoughts on it as well. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. That is it for me. My name is MattOshea, and I will see you all next time.